So a friend of his wants this truck, and he's going to go ahead and let it go. But we need to get it home and get the lift axle cut off because he doesn't want that. It's going to shorten the frame anyway. So, but it's been sitting for a while. He disconnected the battery, but I think it's still a little bit low.
So we need to get my jumper cables. We're going to jump it off of that truck up there.
Which one? Oh, okay.
Up a little bit.
Okay.
This thing here, I really hate to take this thing apart because it runs so good, but it's a typical L Series Ford. The cab's just in bad shape. Got good front tires. Got a decent hood even though it's carbureted. It doesn't have to be cleaned up. This is the problem with these trucks. They're a steel cab and they just rot away. If I could find a good cab for it, I'd just swap cab and hood. Do a little bit of work like fixing the straps here and there. I think it runs and drives so well. I didn't take it apart. Unfortunately, try what something.
What'd you say?
It's got fuel. It hasn't lost its primer. The primer bolt's still hard. Just need to let it charge a bit. I robbed the shifter out of this one for another truck, so now I gotta put it back. So this is the one I gotta take out, and it's specific to this Spicer. It's a four line, and I've looked at diagrams. I think I can change this out for a two-way by using an air relay, but you know, we'll have to show you that one day. What it means today is without this shifter, I sell that truck, I have to buy another shifter, range selector, because I won't be able to drive this truck anymore. These things are pushing $900, $1,000, and I just can't see spending that money for a shifter if I can do it with a relay or something. So that's what we're going to try, but for right now I got to take it off. He wants the other truck because obviously it's much nicer than this one, but I was holding on to that truck for a while because I wanted to put a dump bed on it, and you know, I can't thin the herd if I don't thin the herd, so some of them got to go. In fact, that'll lead us to another discussion one day, because I think I'm done. I think it all needs to go. Okay, it works. We got it in right. I took pictures of the line routing first. Okay, I think we'll get our cables off of it and see if the brakes release. And I already checked all the fluids, so see what we can do. Alright, it is all aired up. I've looked it over for leaks, so now it's time to drive her home. Air conditioning still works in this truck. right, I got the truck here, and his intentions, he's going to take this truck, he's going to move this axle forward and put a dump bed on it. And when I sold it to him, well, I haven't sold it to him, but I told him, I gave him a price on it without the lift axle. And you know, this lift axle is an air down, air up. It's a steerable lift. It's got steering lock on it. You know, it's in decent shape. It needs a little bit of attention on some of the mounts, but it's definitely worthwhile. And it's built on a traditional steer axle, so you can see it's a forged axle here, not a manufactured axle. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this. It also has this valve here, it's pretty neat. It automatically dumps the air out of the steering lock when you go into reverse. It's pretty neat. So it lets it turn any way it wants to. Otherwise it has to overcome these coil springs to turn, these coilover shocks, when you're going down the road. But anyways, we got to get it off of here. He wants it without, which means we have to take all the plumbing loose, which is a quick release for the air down, the quick release for the air up, down, up, whatever. The actual steering lock, wherever they've got that tied into, we got to pull all that out, and we got to pull the controls and the regulator out of the cab itself and get the controls out. First, I'm working on getting all the air fittings disconnected. I'm starting with the air brakes here. They come to each wheel. I like the way they did this. When they teed off of the brakes up here, they came off of the left and they came off the right. So you got equal pressure to all four wheels, and it was after the ABS valve. So even though there's no ABS sensors on the back of this, it would have pulsed just like those in the event of a skid. So interesting. So what I'm gonna do is just start disconnecting all the wiring harness, and I think we're gonna unbolt this from this frame just to make it easier. We'll unbolt all this, and then after that we'll go ahead and cut the frame off. I think it's just a simpler way to do it. We got to get the brake hose off of here. I think these are those reusable lines. So we'll get that out of there, and this frame's actually got some holes in it, I think, back behind this rust. So anyways, it's worth saving this lift axle, because we'll use it on something else. I mean, it'll need a little bit of work, but that's okay. It's like everything I own needs just a little bit of work, and always turns into a lot. So they pulled air supply out of this tank here, and had a regulator on it so it couldn't go too high. And I got the controls out of the cab, but here's what the regulator looked like. And it came in the cab, and I've got to get a plug for this yet, and I got to go get a hose. This hose, this fitting on this end, as you start to tighten it, starts to go crooked like this. And the last time I found one like this, the nut was damaged and this blew off. So we're gonna get a couple new hoses we can put on, and this one went on and off okay, but I'm probably just gonna go ahead and get another one of these just to be safe, so they're both the same and we know they're both good. This is probably a good thing I decided to replace them both, because this is the one with the bad end here, and look at this one. The crimp's coming loose. It's split in two places right there. So it's a good thing we're replacing these. Went down to see the guys at AMI. Got my air brake hoses here. Wasn't sure which length was going to work better, so I just went ahead and got both. We'll just put these on the shelf, just have some extras. So that is in. That makes the air brakes all handled. I've got the air tank plugged up. So next step is to get my temporary mud flaps off here. These are, you know, I put these on here because sometimes I buy trucks with no lights on them, and these work out okay. Looks like I need to tighten that one up. And then I need to get these brake lines off. I probably won't reuse these, but we'll get these off. We're going to start unbolting it, because I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and unbolt the lift axle from the frame and get it out of there. and then I'll just cut just behind there. I just don't want to cut that cross member. I could probably cut through one and not damage the other, but there's a lot of rust in there, so let's just get this axle out of here. Well, we're struggling, just like I thought. The one that's all corroded away, I can't get nothing on it. This one will not turn. This one won't turn. This one will turn a little bit. I'm not gonna fight it. I'm just gonna turn this thing around, get it back in the shop, bring the torches over, and go to town. Put an airbag right underneath it. I got a license plate over top of it trying to protect it. Look at that, so nice and gently it's falling down.
Yeah, I guess.
One more bolt over here, and it is up. I'm gonna try and hit it with the impact on the back spinning first. It moves. Now it must just be the weight of the axle.
There she goes.
There she goes. Now I can cut the frame off. Well, that was uneventful. That's the way I like it. So I'll call him. He'll come and get this. I really didn't want to sell this truck. This is a 2000 International 4900 with a DT 466, a manual 10-speed transmission with an exhaust brake, 196,000 miles, air brake truck. The rockers are in great shape. The cab corners are in great shape. The underside of the cab's in nice shape. You know, the hood's in good shape. It's got good tires on it. This would have made a very great dump truck for me. A very profitable dump truck. I would have moved this axle forward, and I would have cut the double frame right about the point where it starts to get less than fantastic, because the front leaf spring hanger would be right about here. So you can see how the factory did it. They brought it back to the leaf spring hanger, stopped, and then they used shims back here to make up the difference. But this would have been a very profitable dump truck for me. But like I said before, I'm coming off that Peterbilt project, and that thing hurt us financially like you just can't imagine. So I'm gonna have to recover somehow. Now, I guess that means letting go of some of the trucks that I really didn't want to let go of. But it is what it is.
We're just gonna cut the rest of this frame up and set it aside, because we don't think we're gonna need it for anything. It's kind of rough, but we're gonna keep the ICC bump.
Throw this one right on the scrap pile. I took a needle scaler and a hammer and a blowgun to this. I wanted to get a look at some places that were troubling, where they had some rust jack. I wanted to see how thin the steel was, and really it's superficial. It's not anything really structural that's going to be a problem, because this plate right here is all one piece down to here. This part here, which is thin right here, and a few more spots, that is one piece that's cut out and welded to this one. I mean, it's welded elsewhere, of course, but we could easily lay over this or just figure something out. I wanted to get the rust jacking off, get that rust jacking out of there, so that we could get an idea of what we're working with. And when I put air to this thing, these bags held air, but when I started hitting this with the hammer, look at the hole. You see that hole in there? Look at that hole in there from the rust jacking. That held air. That's incredible. So anyways, I just want to get a look at it so we can see if it's something I want to entertain the idea or not. It's just a standard steer axle, but it's got these coilover shocks, and they've got these brackets clamped to the steering arm, which has our center link going from side to side. So we may have to do something there because those brackets are thin in a couple spots, so they might need a little repair or fabric cobbling. But overall, I think it's okay. This side over here, we got some oil, got some schmutz over here, so we probably need a wheel seal, but we'll be taking that off anyways, looking at them. It's got good brakes on it. You can almost read what they are. Anyways, I just want to get a look at it and kind of feel for, you know, what I may or may not need if we're going to use it on my cab over rollback project. So we're going to set it aside for now. Oh yeah, it's got these brake chambers here. These are pretty neat. These chambers here are hooked to these rods, so when you put air to it, it pushes these rods out on either side and keeps the thing going straight down the road. When you put it in reverse, it would take this solenoid, which was normally open, close it, and exhaust the air from them, letting that turn. I thought that was pretty neat. I'm not I didn't quite figure out how they make it to where you can make a turn with them locked in. Of course, there's no air to it right now, and only one of them is retracted. The other one is stuck out, so we'll have to do something there. But you can see what they did. These are all just brackets that came off the original U-bolt pads where it would have been. And they just fabricated this bracket here, welded it. That one's actually bent, but this is welded. This is just a tube with a flange on it. Nothing complicated. I feel pretty confident we can figure something out how to make that work. Obviously, we got to get bags and do a little rust repair here and there, but that's okay. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you on the next one. Well, it's a few days later and the truck's still here. It has developed some electrical problems that I'm gonna have to work through. Well, it's got a clutch problem too. The clutch was stuck when I first went to go move it, and it took a good bit of messing around to get unstuck. But it's developed a bunch of electrical problems, and I've been working through them. One is the batteries keep going dead. Not like they're bad batteries, but something's drawing it down. I came out and tried to start it, and they were just stone dead. So I charged them back up and went to go start it, cranked and wouldn't start. Went through my checks, which, you know, we'll show you all this in another video because this one's getting long already. But I'm in the middle of trying to diagnose what's going on. We got several different issues going on. The dash is coming on its own. The blower motor came on its own. I came out one day, I was walking by it, and I heard the blower motor running. So there's a lot of goofy things going on I need to get through, and the guy that wants the truck is just not into electrical work. It's not his thing. So I told him it's got some stuff going on, and I can't in good conscience sell it to you like this, so I'm gonna have to fix the problem, and I got to get through them and find out what's going on. So we have a dead battery issue. We have a no start issue. It cranks but won't start. We have the gauges coming on for no apparent region, which is probably, that's going to be part of the dead battery, and the blower kicking on, which all that could be the dead battery thing right there. But the no start thing, intermittent, and it'll shut off, so I got to look into that. But like I said, I can't in good conscience sell it to him. So once I start working through the problems on this, I'll bring you along. But I guess it's on hold for right now. I can't sell it to him. It's just not right.